Systematic change management is crucial because it minimizes employee resistance, reduces project failures, and ensures smooth transitions. It provides a structured way to guide people through new goals, processes, or technology so the organization can reach its desired future successfully. Change management is a systematic approach to guiding organizations through transitions in goals, processes, or technologies. Its primary goal is to minimize disruption and maximize employee adoption by preparing, equipping, and supporting individuals through change. Change management techniques are structured frameworks used to guide individuals, teams, and organizations through transitions. Successful transitions require shifting mindsets, building new skills, and actively supporting staff to prevent productivity drops and minimize pushback. Change management is crucial because it ensures people actually adopt new processes and technologies. Incorporating change management strategies delivers a range of operational benefits including maximizes project return on investment, or ROI. Up to 80% of project benefits depend on employees changing their daily behaviors. Guiding users through this shift directly secures intended ROI. Minimizes employee pushback. Addressing the human side of change, such as fear of the unknown or lack of control, mitigates frustration and helps maintain high morale. Preserves productivity. Structuring transitions keeps your workforce focused, avoiding the costly downtime, rework, and turnover associated with poorly implemented changes. Removes roadblocks. Proactive management identifies systemic barriers early, allowing leaders to remove friction and maintain stakeholder buy-in. And builds organizational resilience. Establishing a repeatable change methodology prepares your team for future disruptions, turning change into a core strategic advantage. Change fundamentally disrupts the brain's baseline of predictability, triggering stress responses and the unknown. It forces an adaptation process where individuals typically cycle through shock, resistance, and exploration. While change can catalyze personal growth, it frequently causes anxiety, grief, and identity shifts. The neuroscience of change affects the brain in the following ways. The amygdala. It is a pair of almond-shaped brain structures that process emotions, handle fear responses, and form memories. The amygdala is activated when faced with new or uncertain circumstances, signaling a potential threat. The prefrontal cortex. This is the front part of the brain that manages executive functions, including decision-making, impulse control, and working memory. It is engaged to process new information and make complex decisions, which causes mental fatigue and exhaustion. And prediction error. This is the difference between what your brain expects to happen and what actually happens in reality. The brain is a prediction machine. When routines change, it interprets the disruption as a loss of control, causing emotional alarms like doubt or irritability. And resistance to change is typically an emotional response to the discomfort of something new. The transition process typically involves several distinct emotional phases including shock and denial. This stage leads to initial disbelief and a tendency to hold on to the pre-change environment. Resistance manifests itself in frustration and questioning of the need for the change. Exploration. Eventually acceptance and learning how to navigate the new circumstances is realized. And integration. This is the rebuilding of routines and fully adapting to the new reality. Resistance to change is a natural human reaction usually driven by fear of the unknown, loss of control, and disruption to daily habits. People typically push back when they feel insecure about their future, lack trust in leadership, or feel the change isn't worth the extra effort. The primary reasons people and organizations resist change fall into three main categories. They include 1. Psychological and emotional factors such as fear of the unknown. Uncertainty breeds anxiety. When the future is unclear, individuals often imagine worst-case scenarios regarding their job security or stability. Loss of control. People dislike feeling that decisions are forced upon them. A perceived loss of autonomy naturally triggers defensiveness and resistance. And fear of failure. Learning new processes or technology can make people worry they won't be able to adapt or perform their jobs adequately. 2. Behavioral and habitual factors including disruption of routine. Humans are creatures of habit. Breaking established workflows to learn new skills or behaviors requires significant cognitive effort. Status quo bias. People are generally comfortable with their current situation and may see no logical reason to alter a system that already works for them. And perceived extra work. Change fatigue is real. The immediate, short-term increase in workload required to transition to a new system often causes people to reject the initiative. And 3. Organizational and contextual factors like poor communication. When leaders do not clearly explain the why behind a change, it creates an information void that gets quickly filled by rumors and mistrust. Lack of trust in leadership. If previous organizational changes were rolled out poorly or communication has been historically untrustworthy, employees will be highly skeptical of new initiatives. And cultural misalignment. If the change goes against the core values or long-standing culture of a team or company, it will face heavy pushback. Now we will discuss several change management theories. The first will be Kotter's 8-step process. Developed by Harvard Business School professor Dr. John Kotter, the 8-step process for leading change is a widely used change management framework designed to help organizations successfully implement transformations and sustain them over time. The methodology consists of 3 main phases within the 8-step framework. The phases include creating a climate for change, then engage and enable the organization, and finally implement and sustain acceleration. The next several slides will cover these phases and their associated steps in more detail. Phase 1. Create a climate for change. The first phase focuses on preparing the organization and building a foundation for the transformation. Phase 1. Create a climate for change. The first phase focuses on preparing the organization and building a foundation for the transformation. The first step is to create a sense of urgency. Identify critical opportunities or market risks, and build a compelling case for why the change is needed immediately. The goal is to get widespread support and motivate people to act right away. Step 2 is where the change manager builds a guiding coalition. To do this, assemble a strong, influential team to lead and steer the change initiative. This coalition should include people with power, credibility, and authority from across various levels of the organization. Step 3 is the time to form a strategic vision. Develop a clear, compelling vision that explains how the future will be different and how the organization will benefit from the transformation. Use this vision to create specific initiatives that guide team members toward a common goal. In Phase 2, the change management team will engage and enable the organization. This phase focuses on empowering the workforce and getting them involved in driving the change. In Step 4, enlist a volunteer army. This is done to build broad support by rallying massive numbers of people who are enthusiastic and unified in pursuing the shared vision. Step 5, enable action by removing barriers. Change managers must identify and eliminate obstacles, such as outdated processes, toxic silos, or cultural resistance, that hinder progress. Clear the way so people feel empowered to innovate and act quickly. Then Step 6, generate short-term wins. The leadership team will plan for and communicate visible, tangible successes early on. These molecules of results build morale, establish confidence, and demonstrate that the change is working. Finally, Phase 3, implement and sustain acceleration. The final phase centers on maintaining momentum and embedding the transformation into the company's DNA. Step 7 is the point to start sustaining acceleration. Use the credibility from short-term wins to tackle even larger obstacles. Keep pushing forward by analyzing what went well, setting new goals, and continuously adjusting systems. And lastly, Step 8, institute the change. Anchor the new behaviors, processes, and mindsets into the corporate culture. Ensure the transformation becomes the new standard and is continuously reinforced by linking it to the organization's ongoing success. Kotter's 8-step model provides a structured, people-centric roadmap for implementing organizational change. Its primary benefits include provides a clear, actionable roadmap. It provides a systematic, step-by-step checklist that removes ambiguity from complex transformations. This allows leaders to track progress and know exactly which phase to focus on next. Minimizes employee resistance. Rather than imposing change from the top down, the model prepares employees ahead of time and incorporates their feedback. This fosters ownership and significantly reduces pushback. Maintains high motivation. By emphasizing short-term wins, teams get tangible proof that their hard work is paying off early in the process. This keeps morale high when tackling long-term, difficult goals. And ensures cultural permanence. The final step focuses entirely on anchoring change. Instead of reverting to old habits once a project ends, the new processes become permanent parts of the company's daily routine and core values. Next is the ADKAR change management model. The ADKAR model is a change management framework created by ProSci that focuses on guiding individual employees through organizational changes. It is based on the premise that successful organizational transformation can only happen when individual employees successfully adopt the change. The acronym stands for 5 sequential building blocks an individual must achieve for a change to be successful. They are awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, and reinforcement. Here is an explanation of the 5 building blocks. The first phase is building a sense of awareness. This stage is where the understanding for the need for change is obtained so the stakeholders recognize why it is necessary. Organizations must clearly communicate why change is necessary, focusing on business reasons, market demands, and potential risks of maintaining the status quo. The implementation strategy includes holding regular team meetings to discuss change impacts, communicating data-driven presentations showing current challenges, providing clear messaging about future benefits, and offering open forums for questions and concerns. Desire is the second stage in the ADKAR model. This is the personal motivation and willingness to support and participate in the change. Success depends on addressing personal concerns and highlighting individual benefits. Building desire requires identifying and addressing resistance points, explaining personal growth opportunities, creating early wins and success stories, and engaging influential team members as change champions. It is followed by the knowledge stage. This includes information, training, and education on how to actually make the change. Knowledge provides the tools and information needed to implement change effectively. This stage involves structured training programs, resource allocation, and skill development initiatives. The knowledge stage requirements include role-specific technical training to ensure personnel understand the new job requirements, process documentation, where applicable, hands-on workshops of interactive, practical learning sessions where the workforce learns by doing, and mentoring programs that connect a more experienced person with employees to help them learn and grow. Then there is ability. This requires translating knowledge into actionable skills and successfully performing the new behaviors. Ability focuses on transforming knowledge into practical skills. This stage requires hands-on practice, coaching, and performance monitoring to ensure successful implementation. The key performance indicators are task completion rates, error reduction rates, productivity metrics, and adoption rates. And lastly, reinforcement. These are mechanisms, such as rewards and recognition, to sustain the change and prevent reverting to old habits. This stage requires consistent monitoring and celebration of success. The sustainability measures include recognition programs including such things as peer-to-peer recognition, social praise, and monetary rewards. Performance incentives, which are conditional rewards given to individuals or teams for meeting or exceeding measurable goal. Regular check-ins such as short, routine conversations between managers and team members to discuss goals, share feedback, and spot challenges early. And success celebrations to boost moods, build self-confidence, and help personnel stay motivated towards achieving future goals. The ADKAR model is a highly effective, employee-centric change management framework. Its primary benefit is driving successful, sustainable organizational change by focusing on the individual human steps required to transition from a current state to a future state. The benefits include targeted problem solving. Instead of viewing organizational resistance as a single block, ADKAR breaks change into sequential steps. This allows managers to pinpoint exactly where an individual or team is stuck, such as a knowledge gap versus a desire issue, so they can apply the right solution. Reduces resistance at the source. By focusing on building awareness of the need to change and desire to participate before introducing new skills, it addresses the root causes of pushback rather than just treating the symptoms. Clear, measurable progress. The model turns the typically abstract concept of change into measurable, actionable milestones. You can assess and track exactly how employees are advancing through each phase. Prevents regression. Because it features a dedicated reinforcement stage, it prevents common post-launch failure where employees slowly slip back into old habits a few months after a project is finished. And establishes a common language. ADKAR provides a simple, standardized terminology that leaders, change managers, and employees can all use together, which reduces confusion during major transitions. The third change management system is Lewin's model. Lewin's change management model is a foundational framework developed by social psychologist Kurt Lewin in the 1940s. It breaks organizational change into three distinct stages: unfreeze, change, and refreeze, providing a structured approach to transition an organization from its current state to a desired future state. The model views change through the analogy of melting, reshaping, and freezing a block of ice. It focuses on addressing the equilibrium between driving forces that push for change and resisting forces that maintain the status quo. The first stage is to unfreeze, where you prepare for change. This process is about dismantling the status quo and preparing individuals to accept that change is necessary. Because human nature naturally resists change, this phase focuses on breaking down existing mindsets and reducing resistance. Key actions include challenging current beliefs, clearly communicate why the change is happening, and gather leadership support. The goal is to build a compelling case for change and generate awareness to motivate stakeholders. The second stage is change, where you implement the transformation. This is the implementation phase where the actual transition occurs. People learn new behaviors, processes, and ways of working. The key action is to provide comprehensive training, offer continuous coaching and resources, and openly address unexpected challenges or employee concerns. And the goal is to successfully execute the transition while supporting employees through the learning curve. And lastly, the third phase is to refreeze, where the change is solidified and stabilized. Once the changes are implemented, this stage ensures the new ways of working become the permanent new normal. Without this phase, individuals and organizations often fall back into old habits. The key actions are to anchor the changes into the company culture, establish reward systems for new behaviors, and conduct ongoing performance reviews. And the goal is to stabilize the organization and make the transformation stick long-term. While the model is sometimes criticized for being overly linear or simplistic for modern, highly dynamic corporate environments, it remains highly popular for its straightforward, easily digestible approach to change. Lewin's change management model is a foundational framework consisting of the three simple stages. Its primary benefits include its straightforward and easy-to-understand structure, its focus on the human side of transitions, reducing resistance, and its emphasis on embedding habits permanently into the company culture. The key benefits of this model are simplicity and accessibility. The three-stage process is incredibly easy for leadership and employees to grasp. Unlike complex, multi-step frameworks, it provides a clear and intuitive roadmap that avoids overwhelming teams during transitions. Reduces employee resistance. By prioritizing the unfreeze phase, the model prepares individuals for change before it happens. It encourages transparent communication and gives employees time to let go of old habits, which minimizes uncertainty and lowers anxiety. Encourages sustainable change. The final refreeze phase is what prevents employees from reverting to their old ways. By focusing on reinforcement, updating policies, and rewarding new behaviors, organizations can ensure that the transformation sticks and becomes the new standard. Stakeholder involvement. The model naturally integrates employee feedback and managerial involvement throughout the stages. Actively involving staff helps secure valuable buy-in and fosters commitment to the new direction. And structured, yet flexible. It breaks a daunting organizational transformation into 3 distinct, manageable goals: preparing, transitioning, and solidifying, allowing for tailored planning in each phase. The last change management model we will cover is the Kubler-Ross change curve. The Kubler-Ross change curve is a psychological model that maps the emotional stages individuals experience when navigating significant life transitions, personal loss, or organizational change. Originally based on the 5 stages of grief, it is widely used in change management to help leaders anticipate resistance and support employees through transitions. Transition is rarely a perfectly linear path. Individuals often skip, revisit, or experience multiple emotions simultaneously. The 5 core stages are: denial, the initial reaction of disbelief or avoidance. Individuals may downplay the change or claim it won't affect them. Anger, as the reality of the change sets in, frustration and fear surface. This energy is often directed at leadership, co-workers, or the circumstances themselves. Bargaining. Individuals attempt to negotiate or find workarounds to delay the inevitable or minimize the impact of the change. Depression. Often the lowest point of the curve. As the full weight of the transition sinks in, people may experience sadness, low morale, or disengagement. And acceptance. The turning point where individuals stop fighting the transition and begin adapting to the new normal. When organizations implement new strategies or technologies, the process often stalls due to human emotion rather than technical failures. The change curve allows managers to anticipate emotional dips. Leaders can prepare targeted communication, active sponsorship, and support mechanisms before resistance peaks. Build empathy. It gives leaders a standardized language to understand why employees might suddenly disengage or become frustrated. And provide tailored support. Interventions can be customized to where employees are on the curve, such as providing reassurance during denial or offering emotional support and training during depression. Understanding change management is important because it guides people through transitions, reduces resistance, and ensures that new projects or tech actually succeed instead of failing due to human pushback. It protects company productivity, prevents wasted money, and keeps employee morale high during stressful shifts. We hope you found this training video valuable. Please click the subscribe button to access additional FSTG training videos.